you?
Morning. I'm good.
So, Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
How was that?
It was really busy.
Really busy.
Yes. Because since I've gotten married, then we have like another Thanksgiving to go to. So we did my husband's Thanksgiving at like 11, and then we drove back and then did my mom's side of the family, which is like my main side of the family, at like 1:30, and then at 6:30 we went to my dad's parents' house.
So lots of eating. Huh?
Yeah, it was a lot of eating.
Can you just tell me real quick, like, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for obviously my family. I know everybody says that, but I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful to be in the place I'm at right now, like having gotten married and everything, because we've been together for a really long time. So we've been like, I feel like we've been like manifesting our life for a long time. So it's nice to kind of like look back and like be where you wanted to be. So that's really cool. So I'm thankful for that.
Cool. All right. So before we ended last session, I gave you a self-care assessment worksheet.
Yes.
Kind of as some homework. So how are we feeling about that?
I know there are definitely a lot of areas I'd like to improve on, because if I'm answering being honest, is different than what I want to answer. Mm-hmm. So I tried to be honest, but it was kind of depressing because I'm not doing a lot of things I would like to be doing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I noticed that we need to work on a better balance.
Yes.
For sure, to be able to reach across all different aspects. But your spiritual self-care was kind of your most consistent.
Yes.
So do you want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think I think it's a lot easier for me to focus on my spiritual wellness, because I have like a strong faith in like my Christian beliefs. So I was raised that way. So I think that helps me keep up with it, because that's like one of the only things in my life that I've ever had a routine in, or that I've ever been consistent with. Like I quit everything, so I don't quit that. So that's something that I stick with, and I try to start. I'm in Bible studies, and I'm actively in things that support that. So I think that's the one area of my life that doesn't usually struggle so bad.
So, can you tell me a little bit more about like the routine that goes along with that?
Okay, so I regularly pray. I pray every day because I talk to God a lot, but that helps me kind of. Well, we've talked about I have a lot of anxiety and worry. So that helps me kind of get it out and remember that I'm not in control, and I'm not supposed to be in control, and that's a comforting thought for me, because I don't manage things well anyway, so that wouldn't do me any good. But I know I've started a new study, like a new Bible study, and it's called Winning the War on Worry. So that I feel like has been helping me, because it's like supporting my spiritual wellness, but also giving me some real world things to exercise and kind of help me not dwell on things so terribly.
So we've talked about what I'm hearing. We've talked about your anxiety. We've talked about your stress.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing is this study is kind of built about not worrying. And so you're seeing some of the things from this study that gives you a practical analysis, practical way to go throughout everyday life doing this. So can you tell me a little bit more about how that's kind of affected your everyday, especially, since we just had Thanksgiving and the end of the school year?
So I think one of the major things is like taking your thoughts captive. And I've done a few studies where they mention that, but I feel like it really goes into it on this one. But I think like the study kind of says we lie to ourselves a lot, like saying we can't take our thoughts captive or we just worry, like we're just born worriers, but that's not really true, you know? We can, like, if you catch yourself worrying, you can say, wait, like, where's that thought coming from? And then kind of like change it around and get in the habit of doing that. It can like reroute your thinking. So that's been good, and it's something I have to constantly be aware of because if not, like, I'm really naturally fearful, so it will take over my life completely. So I do have to do that regularly, but it's become something I think about every day, so I feel like it's helping.
It's more in the forefront of your mind. Okay. So what are some worries with as the end of the semester comes?
What I always, every single end of semester, I feel like I'm not gonna make it to the end, or that I'm gonna like all of a sudden fail everything. And it's like I know that that's not right. Like I know I've worked hard through the semester, and I know I've never like just blown it. So I know that that's not a real thought, but I worry about it. So I try to like remind myself that that's not true. It's always been okay. It's always gonna be okay. Like it'll be fine. So that's a big thing with me at the end of the semester.
So your routine? Have we looked any more into implementing a normal routine into your everyday life?
Well, I do think, like I said, I feel like everything else, I'm not really taking care of many other aspects of my life except for my spiritual wellness. So I do think that is one thing that I have started is I've started the study, and like me and my husband have been reading like a chapter every night or like half a chapter every night. So at least that is something consistent that I'm doing. So I feel like it's baby steps, but at least that is consistent.
For sure. Everything in life, one step at a time, for sure. How's your connection with your husband?
It's good. I think that the study has helped because we spend some time afterwards, like kind of talking over what we read, and it's like some time away from this. I really think that the screens kind of, instead of laying in bed before you go to sleep, just scrolling, you've read something and then you're actually like having a conversation that is meaningful.
Together, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's another like way you can assess kind of where we both are like in that area, because I don't think that is like, you don't naturally just bring that up a lot of times, so it's a good way to kind of communicate that.
Workplace.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that you were kind of struggling to find a workplace like self-care type. So can you kind of walk me through how work's going?
So I think like the main issue is that, well, I have two jobs. So I have one that is like at a daycare, so it's a real job, and that one I don't have any issues with. But I think my other job is more like personal, and it's more it's less of a job, more of a family atmosphere, which makes it more complicated. So I think that's why it's harder to kind of balance things with. The daycare job being it's just a standard job, and I don't see those people outside of work really, and it's just I can keep things casual and do my job and get out of there. But the other job, and I do love it, but it's just you carry it with you all the time, no matter what. Like you don't leave the job and leave that there. You have
Right.
to, think about that all the time.
So last time we talked about some confrontations that happened with that job. So can you kind of explain or talk to me a little bit how that's kind of changed over the past couple of weeks?
So I think that those relationships within the workplace have improved a little bit because, I think there's been a little bit. I think the stress has been on everyone. I just think it's easier to be mad at one person than it is to be mad at the whole thing and how everything's going. I don't think nothing's been like directly brought up, but I feel like there's like a better understanding between people that I don't think we're actually like mad at each other. I think the situation is just takes a toll on you.
Do you feel like it's a more cohesive unit now?
Yes,
than
I do.
maybe it was?
And like I said, because it's more of a family atmosphere, you feel more of like a family bond with these people. So, people can drive you crazy, but that doesn't mean you don't love them or care about them still. So there's always that kind of in the back of your mind, like no matter how angry you're getting towards someone, that obviously I'll forgive them, but it's more complicated than a regular work environment.
So how are you doing with how are you doing with forgiveness?
I do feel like I forgive easily. Like I don't hold grudges very much, but it just is kind of like mentally draining for me to hold a grudge because I'd rather just everyone be happy, so I'd rather not be mad. So I feel like I do struggle with it sometimes. Just to forgiveness is continual. Like you don't just forgive one time; you have to keep forgiving. So I think I have to remind myself of that. But I think all in all, it's going pretty good because I feel like I've forgiven and all that.
Has your mental exhaustion changed over the past couple of weeks?
I feel like Thanksgiving break has definitely helped. I don't think it was long enough to help that much, but it did. It's helped me feel a little less exhausted, so I feel like my mind is more fresh. But yeah, I'm not, and I am. You can see the end now with the semester, so that is at least encouraging because you feel like there's like an end to the cycle of being so exhausted.
Yeah.
Like it's right there, you just have to make it, so that's encouraging.
Just pushing through, right?
Yes.
So we've talked a little bit about our self-care and some areas that we need to improve on.
Yes.
We've talked about how our spiritual self-care is pretty much the most consistent. And that we need to try to look for a better balance between all of those areas. Okay, so over the past couple of sessions, we've talked about your stress levels, the daily stress, working up that anxiety before the interviews, making it through the interview great, making homecoming court, and so we've had lots of highs and lots of lows. So how are you feeling about just this whole semester overall?
I feel like it was definitely a challenge. But I feel like I've had like challenges that were good for me. And then I know like I've had to really push myself to keep up with all my assignments and get everything done on time, or at least just dealt with, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have one more semester and I only have 3 classes, so that is a really motivating factor to just, like, it's a good thought to know, like, you're not going to have to do this again. Like, I'm not going to ever have to have this many classes again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did manage it. It's been difficult, but I'm almost done, so.
So, what have we learned about ourselves over the past few sessions?
Well, I think I've learned that I do not take care of myself like I should, and I don't even think about taking care of myself like I should. Because, all the other things I'm pretty aware of. Like, I know I have anxiety, I know I struggle in certain areas, but I think that I don't think about how taking care of myself would help in all the other areas that I know I struggle in. Just like I know on the paper I filled out, there was a question that was like, enjoys, like, you like the clothes you wear or something, and it's like, that's always been something I've really enjoyed, is like clothing, and I have put myself like so far on the back burner with that. Like, I don't really get any joy from that anymore, or like take care of myself with that, or I'd like to have a skincare routine again because I used to really enjoy that, but I've just let things kind of overwhelm me to the point of I'm like not putting time. I don't have enough time to put back for myself. So yeah, I definitely think like getting a routine in other areas like I have in my spiritual life will allow me to take care of myself better.
Yeah, for sure. Because you want to take these. This is our foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are little tools, little building blocks that we can start, almost like Legos. We've built the foundation, now we've just got to keep moving forward and keep building on that, for sure. While this is our final session, it is coming to a close. I would like you to continue to reach out and be able to express your concerns and things that are going on, because it takes a village to be able to, and sometimes you got to lean on some people. You don't have to hold this world up all by yourself, and to be able to have that strength and have that courage to reach out and to get help whenever you need it. Before we go and before we wrap this up, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, I will say that over Thanksgiving break, my mom had surgery, and because she's had she's had cancer, and would be her last surgery, and we had to get her scans back to make sure everything was good to go for the surgery. So I do feel like I was able to put some things in practice, like dealing with that, because when she was waiting on her scans, like that was really stressful because you never know what might pop up or things might go wrong, and sometimes those appointments take longer than they should, and you haven't heard from someone, and then immediately your brain starts jumping to conclusions. But I feel like I was able to, like I was talking about, take my thoughts captive and not let myself run away with like getting super anxious about what ifs. So I feel like that was better. So that's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear. Being able to just take a breath, to just calm down. For sure. So you have my number, and so if at any point in time you need to reach out or you need to talk with any other member of our team here, we'll be glad to set something up.
Okay.
Do you feel better?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right.